This playthrough is rated T for teen.
It's kind of funny how the final fight in the game is you fighting Kreia using her tricks, and then she just throws three swords at you. It's almost like a guy pulling a cannon on you in the middle of a fight, going, "Well, I guess that might kill me." You left me to a choice. I have defeated you, or no longer my master, and my path of my own. Proud words now die, old woman. Kreia, there's still time to save you.
Save me? You already have. It is enough what you have done. From now into the future.
What do you mean, the future? The future, rest now, Kreia, time is over. The future?
Many things do I see as I gaze here from the heart of Malachor. This place channels such energies. If it matters to you at this last moment, I shall look into the future and tell you of what I see. It is my last gift to you, from one exile to another.
Yeah, folks, this is the ending where the game tells you what happens to all your companions. So they don't all come together. Mira doesn't show up. Atten doesn't get a scene at all. You know, Disciple doesn't get a scene. HK doesn't get a scene. T3 and 4 doesn't get a scene. But hey, Kreia will tell us about the future before the end of the game. All right. Oh well. At least the game gives us some explanation of what happens to everyone after the game. So unlike other games where the game just ends and you're like, that's it? You know, so at least we get something. So let's see what happened to my friends, what my allies, what of them. I will see this future, the future of the galaxy. Let the future rest, it will come in time. Yeah, if you just want to get to the ending, you can choose the option of just not know. I do not need such gifts. Rest now, Kreia. My future is to stand here and watch you die. Yeah, let's ask about weapons, our allies. What happened to my friends?
You travel with them for so long, yet you do not know them still. Feel them through the Force, feel what they feel, hear their thoughts and know them as I fought to know you. They were the lost Jedi, you know, the true Jedi upon which the future will be built. They simply needed a leader and a teacher.
Wait, all of them are Jedi? What is wrong with you, game? Yeah, I think the original idea was for all the characters to eventually become Jedi, like Kreia, Atten, Bayodur, Disciple. I mean, that's why they all were able to become, well, except for Mandalore, which, no, that's impossible. And the robots can't. Goto can't. But most of the humanoid characters could. So, yeah, let's go through wait, why is Mira the only one it's asking about? Huh. Maybe I'll ask about the others if we go down the order, so tell me of Mira.
She will stop hunting life and instead live it. She was not born to be a predator, despite her true father and the life she led within the shadow of Nar Shaddaa. She will miss you and think of you often. You who awakened her to what life is. She will live, but only for a time. Her death will occur in many years' time on a forgotten planet, saving the lives of others. But it will be her choice, and she will have no regrets.
I wonder if the game, like, if the dialogue is different, if you're dark side, or she was on your team but you influenced her with dark side decisions. Maybe. I wouldn't put it past this game to have at least mentioned that, but anyway, that's light side Mira. So what of Mandalore?
Many battles does that one have left in him, as Revan intended. A general needs an army as he needs those he trusts. And Canderous is a loyal beast, no matter how much he is broken upon Revan's will. But you know this.
Yeah, by the way, folks, if it isn't obvious to everyone and his mother, Mandalore was Canderous Ordo from the previous game. I mean, other than having the same voice actor and everything like that. I didn't want to say anything, even though it was really obvious who it was. Even when I first played the game, I knew that was Canderous, because it was like, oh, that's his voice actor. It's got to be Canderous, you know. But yeah, he eventually, basically when he talks to you from the previous game, talking about, if you do his side missions, he talks about wanting to secretly reunite the Mandalores to make him great again, you know, and he kind of does it. So, and then, you know, he apparently becomes a general for Revan, apparently, or something like that. So, what are the Mandalorians?
They will die a death that will last millennia, until all that remains is their code, their history, and in the end, the shell of their armor upon the shell of a man too easily slain by Jedi.
Basically, it's making a reference to, I think it's supposed to be making a reference to Boba Fett. And actually, I think this game came out after the prequels were being recorded, so Jango Fett, basically characters like that. That's pretty much what it's referencing to. And Visas, what of her?
The blinded one shall return to her home world, and she shall look upon the surface of that world, and perhaps at last see what she was meant to see. Her life has been changed by your meeting in ways that may not be felt for decades to come.
Did I save her? Yeah, Visas, another character I kind of wish we got to know really well when she joined our crew, but then after that, maybe it's if I put her in certain parties, maybe we'd gotten a bit more insight on her and stuff like that, but oh well. She's the, I hate to use these terms, but she's the waifu of this game for me, is Visas, out of all the characters. Did I save her?
Salvation is a relative thing, but as you understand it, yes.
Oh, well that's good. At least we helped her. We saved her from whatever she suffered from, her torment from Nihilus and everything else. So at least that's good. At least light side way anyway. And the disciple?
He cannot help but love you in his way. It is a pure, ideal love he holds, yet somehow it never dulls in your presence or through your actions. If he leaves this place, he will leave the galaxy behind him. He will sit upon the new council, reluctantly as all good men do, and he will not forget the Jedi who had lost the Force, yet showed him the way to reclaim it. After that I do not know. I do know that you must leave him behind, the same choice that Revan made. Where you are destined, you must not take anyone you love. And of the ones who traveled with you, that is all I see.
I guess because I never really did a scene with that, and it's assumed that even though I never straight up said it, I guess the game assumed the main character and disciple had a thing, even though, like I said, we never really had a moment where the main character straight up says it, so, oh well, that's fine. Obviously the dialogue's different, I think, if you finished Atton's story, I think you can do something like that as well with him, but unfortunately, since I never got enough influence, we never did Atton's becoming a Jedi story, unfortunately, so that's probably one of the few things about this playthrough I regret, is not getting the influence to do Atton's story, but oh well. What about Atton?
Atton is, as always, the fool, and the Force watches out for one such as him, I feel, as it does for the old such as I.
Oh, apparently the game still asks if he loved me too. So apparently the Exile, it's like some games where it's a harem game where all the characters love the main character, but usually it's a man. In this case, it's the female character and all the men love her. Maybe some of the women, who knows? Did he love me?
He is a fool, and that should answer all your questions. He has nothing to offer one such as you. And even a fool such as Atton is not so ignorant of that fact.
Oh, now it asks if you loved me. Did you love me? Let me count the ways.
I would have killed the galaxy to preserve you. I would have let the galaxy die. You are more rare than you know. And what you have taught yourself must not be allowed to die. You are not a Jedi, not truly. And it is for that I love you.
I like that the droids just get added into to Bao-Dur. It's just like, and Bao-Dur and the droids.
Their paths are unknown to me. Even the small one who waits for you outside this place. I sense it has one last journey for you. You must go where Revan did, into the unknown regions, where the Sith, the true Sith, wait in the dark. The great war that comes.
Well, that's kind of disappointing that Bao-Dur doesn't even get, we don't even know what happens to him. It's like, come on, guys. He was he was a weird character, but I think there was a lot of interesting ideas behind him. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know what happened to him. Thanks for that, Kreia. Thanks for that, writers. Revan, he came here. What was here? What happened to him?
It is because he remembered what lay buried here, this place, its teachings. It paved the way to Korriban, you know, the remnants here. And because Malachor, like Korriban, is on the fringes of the ancient Sith Empire, where the Sith wait for us in the dark.
But, well, okay. So Revan came to all the same places I'm going to right now before he went off to the Outer Rim to disappear forever in the annals of time. But yeah, either read the Darth Revan book or play the MMO to find out what happened to Revan. Or at least the gist of what happened to him. Actually, if you play the Jedi Knight, if you want to just play the game for free, which you can, you could just play the Jedi Knight storyline, and pretty much you'll get all the little bits and pieces of. It's almost assumed that the Jedi Knight storyline is considered the canon story for the MMO. Whether you play male or female, it doesn't matter. Just his story, their story in general, explains most of it. So, probably not the most interesting out of all the storylines in the game, but it's the one that makes the most sense for the overarching plot. Anyway, but we fought the Sith.
Have we? You thought that the corrupted remnants of the Republic, the machines spawned by technology that Revan led into battle, were the Sith? You are wrong. The Sith is a belief, and its empire, the true Sith Empire, rules elsewhere. And Revan knew that the true war is not against the Republic. It waits for us beyond the Outer Rim, and he has gone to fight it in his own way. And he left the Ebon Hawk and all its machines behind, for he knew he would not need them. And like you, he knew he must leave all loves behind as well, no matter how deeply one cares for them.
That's why if Revan was male, he leaves behind Bastila. If he's female, or if Death Revan's female, then she leaves Karth behind. And I think it doesn't matter if you're light side or dark side. I think they still have the same feelings for them either way. So, but yeah, just read the books or play the game for that. But I don't know. I feel like the games didn't do a very good job of like really setting up that storyline as well as it could have. Oh well, I'll gripe about that during the credits. Why?
Because such attachments are not the way of the Jedi, and they would only bring doom to them both in the dark places where he now walks. It would have helped had he made her understand, but she was always strong-willed, that one, and did not understand war as Revan did.
Well, Bastila, obviously, what she mentions. Why did you not follow him? Oh, that's right. Because, I guess, did we ever explain it? But, no, I think the game talked about it at some point. Kreia taught Darth Revan, was one of his teachers. That's why everyone figured out that's probably why he fell. It was because of her. I think they do. I think she mentions it in one of her dialogues, but I'd almost forgotten about that. But yeah, that was also another big twist, is that she was actually Darth Revan's like main master. You know, why did you not follow him?
Because I did not know where he had gone. If he had asked, would I have gone? I do not know. But he will need warriors, Sith and Jedi, any who can be sent after him into the depths of space, for any who know the way. Perhaps you shall go there with him and do battle at the end of all things. Instead, I remained here, and now show others the way.
Man, it makes me really wish we had gotten a Knights of the Republic 3 instead of the MMO. Not saying the MMO is terrible, but man, I would have really loved just a major single-player story about maybe us going to playing as a new character, going after Revan in the Exile, finding out what new worlds or new empire, whatever it was that they originally intended, whether it be BioWare or Obsidian, had intended for the plot to go. I assume this was a BioWare idea because Obsidian was basically just allowed to use the license from like LucasArts and BioWare and stuff like that, so maybe they had an overarching idea. But anyway, yeah, I really wish we'd gotten a KOTOR 3, but unfortunately the world does not give you everything you want, despite my writings on the internet. What of the Republic?
The Republic will fall, as it always has. A fall that will take millennia. Under the care of the herds of Ithor, the surface of Telos will bloom again, and its golden fields shall again harbor scientists and thinkers. and complacent and peaceful, it shall forget the time that Saul Karath orbited it and brought fire to its skies. But it shall be a home world again to others who will stretch out across the galaxy and bring life.
Yeah, I think, yeah, she mentions, like, the Republic will fall eventually over time, and that's basically referencing, you know, Palpatine and all his doings, you know. Tell me of Dantooine.
Dantooine shall survive. The community you saved shall be the foundation upon which Dantooine shall be habitable again. They shall drive back the Raiders, the Mandalorians, and all that strike at the Outer Rim. The Republic shall again establish their presence there, and shield it with its forces. And Dantooine shall heal, be safe, and its skies free. The ruins of the Academy shall remain.
Oh, by the way, this scene here where we're asking about what happened in certain areas, this is basically your decisions throughout the game, like what happens to them after the game's over. Because we were light side, so Telos goes back to normal, sort of, over time. Same with Dantooine, it kind of fixes itself back because we help the townsfolk, stuff like that. And Nar Shaddaa?
Nar Shaddaa shall persist as it always has, but there will be a heart to the world where there was nothing before. Where once the lost and disposed were trapped there, now they will struggle and grow. From despair shall come hope.
Well, at least we were able to help them break their chains, even though Nar Shaddaa still, after hundreds of years, still ends up being kind of what it is, but eh. And what about Onderon?
Queen Talia shall have a long reign. Much good will come of it. She will, as she has, rule wisely and well. Onderon shall remain in the Republic, and the world shall prosper, though its people shall, over time, lose their customs in the ocean of the Republic, and become the people of Onderon no longer.
So because by staying Republic citizens, they kind of lose their identity after a while as they get merged into the greater whole. It's kind of sad when that happens, but it kind of happens to a lot of cultures over time, especially with people moving in and out, dying, new people moving in, all that sort of thing. But tell me about Korriban.
Korriban shall be as it always was, a graveyard for the darkest of the Sith Lords, still whispering within their tombs. It shall always be a source of evil, spawning threats throughout the millennia. It, like Malachor, brushes the edges of the Empire that waits in the dark. And like Malachor, the Sith have forgotten it. For a time. They will remember. Revan knew this.
Sith always remember. Always. Let's see, one of my allies. Well, no, we already know about that. Actually, is the allies the same option as friends? Let me see. Okay, it's just the same. Okay, I wasn't sure if friends or allies was the same thing. So, okay. Rest now, Kreia. Your time in this place is over. Goodbye, Kreia. Well, and there we go, folks. Yeah, Chris Avellone did do the main writing for this. But yeah, let's watch the credits roll. The end of Star Wars Knights of the Republic 2: The Sith Lords. Man, I think I hit a plus 100 episodes for this game. Oh man, What a ride, what a ride. Old Republic 2, man. I still think, after all these years, I still think this game is great. Not perfect, or the greatest. Well, maybe I should say it's good. And why is because of the story and the characters in that story. Because of, the game glitched and then the music turned off. Oh, sorry about that, folks. Yeah, that's what happens when you do... Oh, well, it's kicking on and off. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you do the emulation through Xbox 360. I shouldn't have done that knowing all the issues I was going to have, but, oh well. It's not a perfect ending, but anyway, yeah, the story, man. Just the idea of the exile, the fact that someone could be a wound in the Force, that could lose the ability to use the Force, that absorbs energy. That's how they gain levels. I don't know why. I thought that was an interesting twist, that that's why we became so powerful, is because we were absorbing people and gaining levels and XP and stuff like that. Or the slight manipulation of our character over the party members without realizing it. You think, oh, influence was just to make them better warriors and turn them over to our side through convincing, but it was just us through our powers of force bond, having powerful force bonds also affecting them. Music in the game was good. I mean, obviously, the music in the game does a really good job of keeping the atmosphere. So it's one of those types of soundtracks where the atmosphere is great, but I wouldn't say there's any songs that really stand out as, oh man, I love that tune. But I think what the music does in this game is set the mood, basically. But yeah, story I think was good too. At first you think it's going to be just the same, like, oh, you need to defeat these evils and all this other stuff, and you do that, but it's because of just your influence and the fact that they're going to destroy everything, whether you're dark side or good side, you still need to save them. Sarah Kestelman, yeah, I don't remember her working it. I thought she did a great job as Kreia, as a kind of as the master manipulator. See, HK Christoph Tabori as HK47, awesome. Where's Greg Ellis did a good job as the disciple, I thought. Mandalore John Saigon. Yep, Ad Asner as Master of Rook, and all the other voices in the game. But yeah, the story was interesting just because of the whole wound and how it affected these Darth Masters, I think. Although at the end of the game with the whole Darth Traya wanting to destroy the Force and everything like that, I think the idea was interesting, but because the final act of the game is, you can really tell, as soon as we go back to Telos and fight Nihilus and all this other stuff, you can really tell that they were having to rush those scenes out, because there's no major scene in the Ebon Hawk about the characters getting together and planning for what's going on. There's no scene where a lot of the characters work on their own. They did do that somewhat in the end with Mira and Beodur with Remote, but that's it. They try to have something with Mandalore and Visas Mar on the Ravager, but yeah, the droids don't get a scene. At Rand for being like one of the three pillars of the game. The three pillars are, you, the Exile, Kreia, and Atton, because they're the first characters to join you. But yeah, Atton doesn't even get a final scene in the game. Disciple didn't get a scene, or I don't even think Handmaid gets a scene either. But yeah, Handmaid if you played male Exile. But yeah, I don't think she got a scene at the end. She does have a scene if you play as male Exile and go meet Atris. I believe she comes in and either talks to her or has an effect on that because she knows Atris. But actually, I think she leaves your party earlier before you meet Atris, and then you have to encounter her again with Atris because she says, "Why are you doing this?" and all this other stuff. But yeah, the story was really interesting. Most of the characters were pretty interesting, even the ones that aren't as good. Like, I'll admit, Beodur is probably one of the weaker characters overall, maybe, but I still think his story was really interesting just because of his guilt, his PTSD, about the war, his secret anger at what he did and what he'd become. HK, the lovable assassin droid. Maybe T3 is maybe the weakest character in the game, but he has all these secrets inside of his programming that we never know about, and it's assumed that it was Revan that programmed him with setting up all this stuff. That's why the Ebon Hawk came back and all this other stuff. I wish Go 2 had a bit more scenes too, but Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think overall this game is awesome. It has a lot of major issues because the whole final act of the game is rushed. Uh, yeah, I really wish LucasArts hadn't forced Obsidian to finish the game as quickly as it does. There was so much potential in this game. Oh yeah, and if you see, depending on your last save, the person on the front cover is different. At the beginning of the game, it's like Darth Sion, then Darth Nihilus appears after a point, and then it's Darth Traya at the end there. And then you can watch, listen to the music or do the movies. I should have tried to finish my review by the end of the thing, but I was just kind of caught up in a couple things. But yeah, that's why this game is not perfect at all, because of the random glitches in the game, music, the pathfinding. There's like a lot of little stuff in the thing that have issues with, and unfortunately, that's kind of an Obsidian thing. They've had that in their early releases in a lot of their games before, where they had to patch them out, at least in their later games. This one, obviously, that's not the case. You have to get a mod online to even fix some of the problems with this game in terms of just gameplay. I thought the gameplay was great. I mean, it's turn-based, sure. It gets really easy by the end of the game if you know what you're doing, but there's a lot more options here. I like the idea of each companion having a unique feat or ability that they give you. I thought the idea of Kreia being able to give you extra experience as long as you put her in the party, so it gives you a reason to put one of the main characters in the group all the time, so she has her influence, like her subtly influencing you. Atten in his stand your ground ability, where as long as he's not the last person alive, he can always get back up again. You know, and yeah, get a lot more feats, a lot more little bits of customization. You know, the force regeneration, healing, all that other stuff. The higher classes you could get when you hit level 15. The introduction of short lightsabers for different types of combat. Man, like I said, this game has a lot of great things about it, has a lot of problems with it. But yeah, the reason this game will never be a 10 out of 10 is because of the glitches in the game and the rushing at the end, which, you know, it's a combination of LucasArts rushing them and other such things. Like I said, HK, like, depending on how you play it, HK might not even be joining you till the very end of the game, and he hardly gets utilized. And you don't even get a story with him because, you know, they cut out the HK factory, which, like I say, if you get the mod for this game online, you can access it because people are able to find some of the old code and be able to patch up some of the stuff and able to add in the stuff that got cut at the last minute. Oh, man. Man, this is one of those games could have easily get should easily get a remake, and that way they could fix some of the issues, fix some of the story bit. But that'll never happen. EA will never put the money to remastering this game, which is sad, really. But at least we got a game. I mean, that's all I can get out of this. So overall, out of the two Knights of the Republic games, which one's overall better? Probably I mean, that's a tough one because the first one's probably better because it's just a bit more polished, even though it kind of suffers. The thing it suffers from is it is a standard story when you think about it really in the end about, you know, good versus evil, despite the twist of you being Revan at the beginning. While this game does a lot more with questioning, like, what is the Force? What can the Force do? How can it be used? You know, how can you use it in different ways? You know, with Nihilus eating Force users, Sion surviving through pain alone, Traya's master manipulation, you being hurt by the Force and absorbing people's energy. It just has a lot. It makes you think a lot more about it, which I think makes it the more interesting game than KOTOR 1. Despite KOTOR being considered a classic, I think KOTOR had a lot of interesting ideas. And I thank Chris Avellone and his writing team for trying to do that with Star Wars. Make the series I loved a lot more interesting, you know, even though I liked it before, and I liked the simpleness of the original stories, but I like that they tried to go somewhere new, and the Old Republic is a good way to explore these ideas without messing with the continuity, which is why when Lucas said they had an idea for a game, he said, oh, as long as you do it so far away it doesn't affect what we're currently working on, I'm good, you know, and they were able to do whatever they want. So unfortunately these games are no longer, well, they're kind of not considered canon, depending on except for certain references in like the Clone Wars cartoon or whatever, because of what they say about Darth, one of the Revan or one of the masters of Revan or something like that, I think, or something like that. But But yeah, if you ever want to catch what happened to some of the characters, read the book or play the MMO. Though you might be disappointed with certain story beats that happen in those stories and what happens to Revan in the Exile, it's kind of depressing when you think about it, but just especially with what all you went through to get to these points. But they were trying to tell a different type of story, and you're supposed to be the main character of either the game or the book is supposed to tell a different type of story. So, I've been rambling on too long. The game, oops, I'm getting back to that again. The game's over. I really like this game. I suggest everyone try it out, even if you're not in MMOs, but if you're RPGs, even if maybe if you're a Star Wars fan, get the PC version. It's cheap most of the time. Get the mod for it. If you need a cheat to get to the game and just do the story, fine. Like they can say, if you know what you're doing, the game's pretty easy overall. Like when you saw me die, the only times I died is because I purposely kept my level low for a while because I'd forgotten, at what time did we get the higher class. I thought we could get at lower levels, but I found out you could only get level 15, and a few other scenes where I just wasn't paying attention. Like the three sabers popping up and just attacking me at once and doing like hundreds of damage in each attack, But yeah, please play this game. It gets enough love online, but it's nice to let other people know about this series, and I hope I've done something to influence you, despite my poor job at this game overall. It didn't help that there was a lot of little technical glitches on my end because of the emulation in my recorder and stuff like that, or discoloration, music cutting out, stuff like that. So I apologize for that, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. So yeah, one of my longest playthroughs to date is this game out of everything I played, and I enjoyed going back through it again, and I'll do it again one other day, not for recording, just on my own, but maybe do the dark side playthrough again, and that's the great thing about this game. There is multiple ways to play it, and light side, dark side, and you get different dialogue for different reactions and stuff like that. So anyway, I've talked on long enough. I've explained how much I love this game, and I hope I at least gave you appreciation for this game as well. And it'll stick to my mind as one of the more interesting Star Wars related media to ever appear. So thank you, Obsidian, for this game. Thank you, BioWare, for letting them try this out. And I don't know if I want to thank LucasArts just because of them rushing the game, because they just wanted to hit a Christmas release instead of getting a finished product. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on my next game playthrough. See you later.